Willkommen to the Trainer Closet, where trainer secrets are revealed and tested. Individual result may vary depending on your genome, microbiome, and whatever else you do. Now here is Mike. He has his cup. Chelsea is running. I don't have a cup. My name is Orest. And Mike, I've been kind of spying in on you a little bit as of late, and I've seen you do a lot of shall we say, rubber band work as of late with clients. And what is the goal with that and how it came to be about? By the way, you need a haircut.
I do need a haircut, but it's summertime and I'm kind of digging the flow.
You do. And what about that facial hair?
Yeah, I'm due for a shave too.
Are you trying to
At least I still have my youth.
You trying to get a new type of clientele there?
When you're my age, Orest, it all looks good. When you get to be your age, you got to do a little bit more fine combing.
Well, that's true, or I would have to say when I was your age, I didn't really have to care about it. I was trying to look not as good because, I looked so good. I had to kind of dim it down, so to speak. And
back when you were an actor.
Oh, that's true, I was.
Yeah, with your super successful acting career.
Uh-oh. I would say it was as successful as it was meant to be, but yeah.
That was mean, I'm sorry. I think you're a great wellness coach YouTube show actor.
I'm not acting.
That's true, which is what's great about us.
Or am I?
We're authentic, we're genuine, and authentically and genuinely, I'm going to tell you a little bit about what my new approach to movement coaching is at this point. So we already did a Pilates video. I'm not going to get too deep into Pilates, but I love the Pilates reformer. As a person with scoliosis, I love the alignment. I love the ability to isolate all the different muscles between your shoulders and hips and be able to work them in a way that...
Did you say isolate? Because I think the bigger thing about Pilates is that you actually connect them all. I think that's just a poor choice of words there. It's like more like, I think the great thing about Pilates is that everything kind of works connected as it's meant to. Versus
Absolutely.
Isolation is the biceps curl for me.
Absolutely. Maybe isolation is a poor choice of words because one thing I love about Pilates...
And I'm not the American.
Is that one thing I love about the Pilates is that you do feel the entire chain of muscles working.
That's right.
My issue when I'm on my feet or when I'm not on the Pilates reformer, I can never really feel myself being in perfect alignment because of my scoliosis.
No.
But then with the reformer, I totally can. That being said, as a trainer, not all of my clients want to get on the reformer and not everybody wants to take Pilates classes.
Can you do me a little favor and just like explain to me why the reformer does align you better? Is that because you have the feedback of a floor, so to speak, underneath you and then like that, the spinal part?
I think it's because of the straps, the straps that attach. So you're laying flat and there's two straps that either go into your hands or go into your feet. And there's also a foot bar. So you have 4 points of contact for your 4 limbs. And then you do a lot of different things in between those 4 points of contact. And sometimes you only have 2 points of contact, whether it's 2 feet or 2 hands in the straps.
So would you say then, I mean like by the sound, I mean I was just imagining you right now supine. But would you say that because the focus, I guess the awareness focus of Pilates goes more to the midsection, that is
Yes.
So why can you not include that into your normal workouts when you say like, okay, I'm going to work out for an hour now. I will move my arms, of course, because I want to have big biceps and look good on the beach.
Yep.
But I'm going to focus on what my rest of the body's doing. Couldn't you do that?
Because of my scoliosis, I'm always kind of leaning a little bit one way or the other. And I never feel as activated in my core than I feel when I'm on the reformer. And that's why I decided to try to figure out a way to reenact the reformer in the gym.
Okay.
And so I take 2 bands, big elastic band, and attach it to 2 posts behind where you're laying. So it's behind your head, attached to the ground, or attached to a post, a railing, and you're laying flat on your back. And then you have 1 band in each hand, and you're able to do all different kinds of stuff with the bands, whether it's crunching, using your abdominals to push into the band, whether it's holding a crunch and holding that isometric contraction in your core, having your ab muscles fight against the resistance from the band while you're doing different things with your legs, so that your lower abdominals are stabilizing your pelvis while you're doing stuff with your legs. And then I attach the bands to your legs and have you do different kinds of leg work with gravity out of the equation. And so if you have any kind of hip pain, knee pain, we can kind of figure out
That's in
where...
supine again.
In supine, yeah. So in supine, laying flat on your back. So it's just easier to feel your muscles working when you're laying on the ground pushing against a band than when you have any kind of more upright exercise using equipment or things that are more complicated. And so I try to start off all of my sessions with people really getting neuromuscularly in touch with all of their core muscles, so that in every other exercise thereafter, you have the ability to use your core for stability and for strength. But I help you learn how to master that mechanism while you're laying on your back with bands on the ground.
No, I have two things to that. Like, I mean, by the sounds of it, you kind of basically took whatever like the reformer movements and movement patterns look like and try to just bring them to the, you know,
True.
gym. And no,
Yep.
I mean, that's what you were kind of
Yeah.
trying to. Okay, great. That explains a lot. The second thing is like, and this is kind of what goes back more to the fact, like, you know, I mean, that you're using it as a starting warm up. Like, so when I started out, and I think there's a certain part that is a truth to that too. A lot of people would tell you to do abdominals or core work at the end of a workout, just by the simple fact most of the other exercises will use them. So if they're completely tired, they will be probably like, let's say we do in a squat. If they're tired, they probably will have a harder time keeping a perfect posture there. So what did you think I thought of that? Like, wouldn't that, like, I mean, I hear this a lot of times too, like, oh, we're going to warm him up and we make him fire.
Yep.
And I think the only way that would make sense to me is if there really is a neurological damage or something like there, that one of the muscles is shut off for a certain reason, an injury or something like that, and then fire that up, and you can really test that beforehand, versus, you know, just the general, like, okay, I have to make sure that something fires.
Yep.
You know, in this specific case, in my opinion, could make you not as perfectly aligned in the squat.
Similar to you, I used to do all of my ab work and core work at
Yeah.
the end of the workout, and I think you and
I'm not saying that I'm doing that. I'm just saying I'm asking that question. Like, as I
Yeah,
said, like, that's how I started out.
It used to be like what you did, especially, I mean, I'm sure me and you both learned how to lift the same way. Muscle magazines back in the day.
Yeah.
And all of the old muscle magazines used to have your workout and then abs at the end. And, you know, everyone would go through like a quick little ab workout at the end. And when I used to train in the beginning, I used to train people that way. But most of my clients are general population.
Yeah.
So as a general population trainer, most of my clients are sitting all day long, and they also don't really do any highly athletic stuff. You know, most of their activity maybe is a spinning class is the most intense thing they do, or, you know, walking to work. I try to get them to do as a low intensity activity every day. But for the most part, they're not jumping, they're not doing anything explosive, and I find that those explosive movements, jumping, really fire up your core. But if they're never doing that, then they never really get their core fired up. So now I have them doing all this arm stuff and all this leg stuff, and they don't really have any foundation or opposition for their arms and legs to pull against. And so I decided, okay, I'm gonna start doing core at the beginning, and less as a way to help you get a six pack and more of a way to activate your core muscles, activate your diaphragm, get you in touch with your breathing, so that then in every other exercise, when I say, you know, you're bench pressing and I say, pull your ribs down, you already have that mind-body connection going to your core, and it's really worked. It's really worked.
I think the only thing that, again, I guess a choice of words maybe, is the fact, like, I would say that is bringing awareness.
Yeah.
Bringing awareness instead of like firing them up, because firing them up, again, it sounds like, okay, they cannot fire up by themselves, and I kind of have to do an exercise in order for them to wake up, so to speak. They're sleeping down there, and then I wake them up, and then, so like I would say, like, just so that I can actually, okay, this is in this movement, I feel now, okay, this is flexion in my spine, therefore I feel the muscle of the abs working. Now I can actually do that in a different exercise. So those kind of, again, and I assume that you would not use a lot of heavy weights then to fatigue the abs.
True. Yeah,
Okay.
no, I do it more as an activator. But
See, activation is like, again, like, I
it's
don't...
better than awareness.
I think the opposite way around. I think it's awareness. You bring awareness to it. Activation is kind of...
When you bring awareness to your abdominals, do they get warm?
You mean just by sending awareness to it?
By sending awareness and by activating them, do they feel warm to you?
I can actually isometrically contract them by just thinking about them, and probably eventually they would get warm. But that's not so much.
They feel a little warm, right?
Yeah.
When you stand close to a fire, do you feel warm?
Yeah.
So you're firing up your abs. Thanks for listening. The cat's out of the bag and the trainers are out of the closet. Oh, I mixed that up. The secrets are out of the closet. And I think today the score is Mike 1, Arrest 0.